Welcome back to Landmarks Discovered. On our last episode, we discussed Marion Sims Wyeth's design for Hogarcito and the Golfview Road Development Company. In this episode, we'll be discussing 9 Golfview, which was designed by Clark J. Lawrence in 1928. When Marion Sims Wyeth was designing Golfview Road, he intentionally left vacant lots available for each of the 5 spec homes. And you found in doing research that one of these families, which was the Nikolai family, decided to take that extra piece of land and sell it to a relative.
Yes, so the wife, Bella Nikolai, sold it to her sister, Mrs. Edward Stairs, and she commissioned the architect, Clark J. Lawrence, to build on that lot, the house that we see today, 9 Golfview Road.
The architect of 9 Golfview Road is Clark J. Lawrence. We weren't able to find much about him, but we do know that he was born in 1889 and graduated from Cornell University in 1913. He practiced in New York, New Haven, Chicago, and Palm Beach, and we actually found some etchings that he did of the 1935 World's Fair in Chicago.
Another building that he worked on in the town of Palm Beach was the North Fire Station, which is located at 300 North County Road.
I think that 9 Golfview is a great example of the flexibility allowed by the Landmarks Commission when there is historical documentation and good design. It was a challenge in figuring out what to do with this property because it was a hybrid of 2 architectural styles from 2 different periods and 2 very different layouts. So on the one hand, there was historic documentation that showed what the home originally looked like with a side entrance and a centered balcony on the 2nd floor. And then you have the present day structure itself, which is very different.
So A.H. Pierce, the architect who bought the home, sought to modernize it for the mid-century. So he added some elements that you would consider maybe not appropriate for a Mediterranean rival home. We see those elements such as the metal balcony railing and this giant plate glass window really on mid-century modern structures such as the ranch house.
9 Golfview Road underwent a substantial rehabilitation in 2016, and we had an opportunity to sit down with Jaime Torres Cruz from Fairfax and Sammons about the project.
As we found the house in 2016, there was a big plate glass window with 2 side lights in this room behind me. The front entrance was where it is. We obviously changed this treviated style big plate glass door to 2 arch doors. So that's a big change to the exterior. The main entrance was kept in location, but we changed the stones around to make it much nicer. And then on the 2nd floor, the balcony, which had been extended to both corners of the house, was shortened to only the east portion of the house in front of the master bedroom. The railing was changed to match the style, the Mediterranean style of the house, as well as the columns in between the railing that support the covered roof up above it. And then the other big change was above the entrance, to contribute to the enhancement of the grandeur of the house. We added a parapet wall and a corbelled cornice. That corbelled cornice actually mimics a little bit what we did under the balcony, because the balcony doesn't just extend or cantilever out onto the front, but it has two corbels that go around the arches and then extend over to the edge of the balcony. On the interior, I would say the most significant element is the living room, with its 2-story height, beautiful fireplace, and the catwalk above it. There are also in the dining loggia beautiful columns, which we kept, and then we added the steel doors.
We also had an opportunity to speak with Betsy Shiverick, who partnered with Fairfax and Salmons on the project.
My husband, Paul Shiverick, and I are partners with Richard Salmons and Ann Fairfax from Fairfax and Salmons Architects. We started a partnership 5 years ago or so. We call it Acritarium, and we were interested in buying old homes on the island and fixing them up and selling them and trying to restore them and get them as close to what they originally were as possible. My favorite feature is the room we're sitting in. The grand entertainment possibilities of this room, the high ceiling, I think it's 30 feet high. And the fact that you walk in the front entry, you don't know it's coming. You step to the right and then take a little bit of a turn, and voila, you're in this room that is soaring high ceilings, great windows, great light, a beautiful fireplace, which we uncovered. It was sort of boarded up with wood. We found original carvings underneath. We unearthed them, we cleaned them. And the elevator doors came from auction. They were actually from Venice, and they're painted cabinet doors. Richard Salmon saw them and thought we could convert them into elevator doors. And it was a bit tricky, but we have very skilled builders who were able to adapt these Venetian painted doors to elevators. So we bought a pair of them and we put them on the elevators. Another design element which we think really worked was opening up the doors with these beautiful steel doors that have a little bit of modern look, a little bit of contemporary, but serve a great function. In the case in the dining room, we have bifolding ones that fold onto themselves and then fold back onto themselves. So when you entertain, the entire doors open. You've got probably a 15-foot opening. And when you close them, they look like they're just beautiful steel doors.
When Jane Day was doing research on the Wyeth book at Hillwood, one of Marjorie and Meriwether Post's estate, she found some letters between Marion Sims Wyeth and E.F. Hutton about the development of Golfview Road. The letters were talking about the delay in construction of the spec homes that were due to the low level of the road of Golfview Road. And how Wyeth had to actually bring in sand from the beach to fill the road up. So we can see that today in how low-lying the road is and how consistently it floods during just regular day rainstorms or major flood events.
Jane's research actually, ties into something that's really been a focus of the Preservation Foundation, and that is our Water Rising series and providing education on the impact of sea level rise on the built environment. And what's interesting about this project at 9 Golfview Road with the rehabilitation that was done there is that the property became the first house in the town to use a passive floodgate to deal with some of the flooding issues that the property has experienced in the past.
Well, one of the things that we thought of with this house is the flooding issues. And Richard found a system it's a passive system where water, if you do get water coming in, it actually propels a shield up, which keeps the water out. We have it in the front, across the front gate. We also have it across the garage doors. So if you get flooding in either the alley or the street, this system activates. And it has in fact activated a couple of times and works very well. What I like about it is you can't see it. You don't even know it's there. It's a small little grate that goes across the sidewalk in the front and then across the garage in the back. You don't see the doors. You don't see any evidence of this even being there. And I believe that 9 Golfview is the first house in Palm Beach to have this system. Landmarks Commission is very, very, very interested in people buying these homes and fixing them up. So their job is not to say no necessarily. Their job is to make sure it's done well. And I think they stay open-minded, yet with an eye to the proper way to restore a certain home. I think people who buy landmarked homes are committed people anyway. They want to preserve, they want to restore, they want to do the right thing by the home. And the Landmarks Commission just really helps you along with that process.
In our next episode of Landmarks Discovered, we'll transition to a landmarked public space. We'll take you to Town Hall and introduce you to the town's first historic preservation planner. I hope you'll join us.